Hello. So before we begin, I just wanted to say this. I want to thank a lot of you for subscribing to me as of late. We're kind of getting closer to 200 now, which is really amazing to think about. I didn't think I'd grow this fast, but here we go. Every time it just upgrades more and more. So I just want to thank you on that. I am aware that there is still the squeezers that we have to do, but I want to try to get some of these stuff out now. There's 3 videos to this part, and then that will be it. To better explain what's going to go on for these parts, all you'll need to know is that the first part is going to be taking a look at a bit of the new story, which is the Ghost Next Door. Second one is going to be finishing up both the Ghost Next Door and the Attack of the Graveyard Ghouls. And then the last one is going to be basically all the other stuff plus the last story we're going to take a look at, which is Return of the Mummy. After that, all other stories will be in their own contained episodes, much like how I've done with the other ones. So this will be the last few parts. The Let's Play parts are recorded offline, so they're not really recorded with audio like the other ones were. But what I am going to do is I'm going to still act as such until the end of it. So excuse on that kind of stuff there. I will be voice acting though, so there will be that, but everything else is not going to be too much in depth with all this stuff here. So with that in mind, let's just dive right in. Welcome back to part 11 of this playthrough. So we are, when last left off, we got some goings on here with the new, or with our past, which was, I believe it was back in Attack of the Graveyard Ghouls, but we are in the middle of trying to get ourselves upgraded for all these other parts here. But it is coming slowly. Anyways, we should be about done with Sator's part here. So let's go ahead and see what this gnome has to say.
Hey, what's up, Sator? Listen, I have an article that I'm sure will be of interest to you.
Tell me what your offering is, little one.
Who are you calling little one, you big, hairy bag of garbage?
Alright, calm down. What do you have to offer?
A handmade carved wooden pipe. Are you interested or not?
A pipe, huh? Alright, bring it and I'll tell you how much I'm willing to pay for it.
Get a gnome pipe and sell a gnome pipe. So this will a small big business. So the only thing for this to work is you have to have the gnomes, which is something that you would have to do in a normal quest. And yeah, again, I'm just going to quickly show this off because in the last part I didn't get to zoom in, so here are the gnomes. I do like how the gnomes here look like normal gnomes instead of the ones that were shown in the books, which were really ugly looking things. There was a lot of stuff here too I wanted to talk about, but I think that will be when there is a bit of breathing room, because I believe after this there's going to be another quest line I'm going to be popping up here in a bit, which is going to be with Slappy, which is going to be more so just talking about how you make your town looking a little bit more spookier than it should be. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Slappy has to say.
Finally! I finally arrived in Horrortown. Excellent work, player. The city is starting to look the way I envisioned. You've chosen well. You've grown into the kind of human I like. I'm almost proud of you. I promise you won't regret this.
So I believe you get this request if you actually have Slappy be in your town. Surprisingly, hold on a second. Alright, so this stuff is, we've done this before. This is just during the time when we've updated the game, so the new dialogue thing. I think I talked about this in a later part before. But what you need to know about with this is, with Slappy anyways, is the fact that when it comes to his questline, these stuff here will be, oh yeah, and then this is the ghostly pact, by the way. This is what it's offering. Not pretty bad stuff, mind you. There's a bit of Craw's mansion, Sharon's house, which are very... Like Sharon, you could probably get very easily. The abandoned train's unique to this bundle, unfortunately. The creepy tree, Carl's leftover stand, what helps you with that. So, yeah, not a bad deal. It's up to your choice. You only have a few hours once this is unlocked, so think of that as you will. And this unlocks as soon as you get to level 9, which I've done here. And with level 9, finally unlocks the ability to get the graveyard done. Plus, we also have the ability to get Crawl's mansion, which has the headless ghost, which will be in his own separate part. So he won't be in during these 3 coming up, but yeah. Anyways, it's just more continuation of this quest here with the different changes, which I don't really need to show off too much. Something with the nightmare, Night of the Living Dummy, you can actually complete that quest without having Slappy. However, to finish everything, you need Slappy in order to get the statue and all that, so keep this in mind.
Look, everyone, 3,333,360 points. I won, Marty. Now I don't have to tell you anything. Not so fast, worm. The deal has changed. You'll tell me everything, or I'll tear you out your tongue. Okay, Marty. I'll tell you, but don't hurt me. We're on a trail of a ghost who wanders around the city at night. A ghost? What kind of garbage is that? There are no such thing as ghosts.
That's what he likes to think, huh? Yeah, so this is a continuation of the cack of the Graveyard Ghouls, so we're gonna find out what Marty has to offer here.
A ghost in this boring city? How ridiculous. Nothing interesting happens here. But if that silly Lucy's so anxious to find a ghost, I'm gonna help her find one.
Place the angel statue and leave a false trail. Alright, so this is gonna have you... In order to do this, you'll have to get the angel statue here, which is 5,000 of the coins. So it's a scared deco. It's not that scary to tell you the truth with the looks of it, but I can see why it's in that place there. Now, the other weird thing too, I think I mentioned this during my playthrough, but the sorrow choker where you have to get it and sell it to Seder, for some reason there used to be a thing associated with that, but for some reason now there is no actual dialogue for it, so it's just a little activation thing and then that's it. I'm not sure why they got rid of it. I'm wondering if it's because they changed the story. They didn't want to make Theodore look like a drunk, which originally that's what they had it done. And that's the other weird thing too about these playthroughs, is despite me kind of capturing this stuff, because the game is forever changing, this is not the final production. Technically speaking, this is not even officially released yet, because it's still in the 0 point something. So keep this in mind, that even though I try to sell you or show you what characters drop, these are always set to change with every update, so keep this in mind.
That was invigorating. I feel like a new monster. I'm going to open an account in the tavern.
Tell me, Eugene, was this night as special to you as it was to me?
Certainly, Agatha. I hope we can do this again soon.
Yay! Ending! We're almost close to a scarometer thing. At some point, when you get to upgrade the scarometer, once you get to a certain part, it'll stop dropping you coins or cash, and it'll start dropping you the other items, which I'm going to talk more about those items in their own separate video, mostly with the dark ring, or the black ring. So yeah, just keep this in mind. I think this next part here is with Slappy's talking about the scare deco, so let's see what he has to say here.
Those fools! Morgan and Lamar were easier to manipulate than that chubby kid. This blank and boring little town may be the ideal place to unleash a wave of terror.
Slappy, you are a genius! Have an evil big laugh and sell sorrow choker. So it's for 5 minutes. It's funny. We're gonna take a quick look at this because it is a funny little animation here. So he's gonna have a big laugh and his mouth falls off. I think we've kind of showed this before, but this is just a quicker, kind of closer look at how it is. And what you're wondering about with the bars on the side here, it's because of the fact that the this is being played on the tablet, which is a weirder, grayer shape, so it's not as wide. And if I did wide, it just looked bizarre. So I'll keep it as is. So anyways, here is the dialogue that was missing.
Hey, Theo. I thought you were going home. You're right. I know. I better go home now. See you later, friend. Poor Theo. He's a good person, but he's changed a lot since his wife left him.
Yeah, so ever since the update, I have not seen this quest pop up after the fact. And this was, like, this is in December, so I don't know if they changed the dialogue, or they're going to change the dialogue, but that's just something to keep in mind. Speaking of updates and stuff like that, I recently was watching Casey Loves Gaming, and he's done a lot of different playthroughs. And one thing I've noticed as of late is that there was 2 videos he had. One of them was for the Futurama World of Tomorrow, a game that died real quick due to other problems with the company who ran it. And the other one is, and this is the other one that recently died as well, was Marvel Avengers Academy. And he had a lot of, he had like playlist of stuff from there, but as of recently, he basically just deleted them off of the face of his map. So no longer are there videos with him showcasing any of that stuff. It's now gone. I think he's hidden them. I don't know why he did this, but it's kind of a scary thought because he actually went into depth with all the updates, and now it's like, oh, it doesn't exist. So it's not like anyone cared. So that's one of the reasons why I kind of got into doing something like this, because for some reason I'm kind of gotten the fascination with this game as a whole, and why I'm kind of doing this type of stuff. Even with the fact that I know these kind of videos, especially this one, probably isn't really going to be as popular because this isn't a very easy thing for everyone to get. But again, a lot of people would want to see, I guess, just an archive of such a thing. So, you know, there might be something you might miss later on in the future, or when this game goes away. You can relive and go, oh yeah, I remember Slappy telling me to do this. Yeah, so there's that kind of stuff there. One interesting, I'm trying to think of topics to talk about here. Speaking of gnomes, though, it's weird because I was looking at Plants vs. Zombies. I know, weird topic to talk about, but it's very surprising to see them, as well as Angry Birds, celebrating their 10th anniversary. So they've been here since a decade, and they've gotten really big as of late. Mind you, Plants vs. Zombies didn't have a movie. They could be. No, they could, but they haven't had one yet. Angry Birds, unfortunately, does. 2, actually. And what's interesting about this whole thing is the fact that they're still going strong. Like, I think they recently announced that the Plants vs. Zombies 3 is actually being made and is like in really beta alpha right now on the mobile devices, and they just recently did their sequel kinda to Garden Warfare, which is Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborhood. And, you know, that game's still pretty going strong. So, again, I might look into that, but if there is a game that you guys want me to kind of look into, especially when it kind of fits the narrative of, like, the Goosebumps games or something like that, that's kind of like a town builder IP-ish, let me know and I might look and dive into that. I do have a live stream, which I tend to I'm trying to get myself back into doing it, but I've just been kind of busy, and it's kind of hard to set a schedule for when it comes to these kind of things altogether. One thing, though, I will mention during this part, if I can recall, before I forget, because my mind is going 1,000 hours. I'm not making any sense. Bear with me, folks. Oh. Yes, yeah, but there's a lot of parts to this video that I have to try to get myself into. But anyways, I think we're about done with one of these quests here, and I think this is for Slappy, so here we go.
Soon, the town's inhabitants will be able to enjoy a family show with killer clouds. Or decorate their gardens with psychotic gnomes, and have tea with an adorable alien grandmother.
Fun fact about that whole thing, that ended up turning out to be the case. As you know, as of late, the update in November of 2019, they had the Secret Agent Grandma / Revenge of the Squeezer event came out, which is the what we know as the Squeezer Revolution. So it will be very interesting to talk more about the Secret Agent Grandma bit there, but for now, let's just kind of continue with the story.
We'll see how your plan turns out, Slappy. You know Lucy and her friends will make it easy for you.
Shut up, Curly. Just for that, I'm planning a very special dinner with you with Fifi, the vampire dog.
Also, another character they've just dropped there, which we all know where that came from. Oh, the worst one yet.
She likes bones, so I hope you bring plenty with you.
Yay, we're done. So, yeah, that's the Night of Living Dummy quest, so that's complete here. And here we go. That's all done here. Now, there are these statues, and I will try to kind of show them off, but I think I'm not going to show them off unless they're the other separate books, but it's kind of hard for me to kind of do, because, again, it's you know what, I'm going to let you guys decide what you want to see, but, yeah, I'm not going to be too much into that, so we'll see how this turns out at the end of the day, but yeah, this should be interesting, but we'll see how this whole thing plays out, but yeah, anyways, let's continue on. So, oh, no, please stop, okay, oh no, please, come on, alright, let's continue. Oh, sweet, this is done, and oh, no, I don't want to join your group. God, the amount of pop-ups, it's just like, oh, you want the stars? No. Do you want it? No. Do you want... No! Buy the movie! Oh no, join us. Mind you, the pop-ups are not as terrible, but for some reason when you start the game off, that ends up being the case. And what's hilarious about that is, for some reason, I got pop-up after pop-up after pop-up. It was just... ooh. Anyways, let's continue on with this here.
Can you see anything, Dustin? I don't see any ghosts. Maybe we need to get closer.
Lucy, do you think we're going too far? I don't want to unleash a bunch of ghouls on the city.
You know, Justin has a point. But yeah, then that continues off of the, to the creepy graveyard, which needs 7,000 of the coins. So that's going to be a little while until we get that, because we need to put this down to continue on with the story, because we're going to, spoiler alert, we're going to have to unlock the graveyard in order to continue with this, quest line. And it's very weird that I called this part the part with the ghost next door, and I've yet to show her off. But don't worry, she's coming up relatively soon. So let's talk about this then. The ghost next door. What's interesting is that in the movie, in the 2015 movie, I believe, and here's spoilers alert, by the way, if you didn't know. She is mentioned into the movie, but it's one of those spoiler alert kind of deals, and it's very interesting how they kind of tied her in there. The book itself, which is based off of, apparently, there's a girl who has these nightmares of fire or something that's happening, and she wakes up, nothing seems to be there. Then she meets this new kid, and she thinks that he's a ghost because he keeps disappearing. So then one day he actually he falls down. He falls down. She tries to catch him, but yet he goes through her. And then she realized, oh wait, I'm the ghost. And then it turns out that the kid was supposed to die in a fire, and death, I guess some weird form of death says that, oh, you can't do anything about it. But she's like, no, I want to save this kid. So it's like a touching story where a ghost kid who died in the fire actually went ahead and tried to save someone else from dying. So here's a close-up of Sharon. This is what she drops. She's not a bad premium character to buy. She doesn't cost too much to grab, by the way, at the time, but you do need to unlock this in order to get this here. You need to be level 8 too in order to get this. It's very interesting though that for Sharon, they kind of made her into what looks like a goth girl, like a gothy punk. If that's a type, I don't know if that exists, a goth punk. But she looks like a rebel child. That's the best way to describe her. She's a rebel child. That's the look she's going with. Anyways, we built her house in this weird-ass corner. And sure enough, there you go, you unlocked Sharon. Yay. You know what's weird? You don't have, like, a collection to say, oh, like, here are all the characters you can collect. But anyways, there you go. Let's see her.
Sharon is a bit of a rebel child here in Horrortown. She usually keeps to herself. But she has her secrets, as we shall see.
I can't believe all my friends went on vacation and left me alone. I guess I'll go riding on my longboard by my lonesome. There's nothing much else to do.
Take a longboard ride and obtain some tin cans. What a lovely girl. What a happy-go-lucky character is she. So we have take a longboard ride, listen to music lying on bed, write ideas for short stories, sleep, and remember the past. So these are the quests we have as of right now. There's more to expand later on as you upgrade. So let's take a quick look at this is how she rides on a longboard. By the way, a longboard, that is very interesting. You don't really get to see a lot of people talk about longboards. Skateboards, yes, but longboards is a totally different thing. And I love it that they make sure that she wore a helmet, because she might be a rebel, but at least she protects herself, at least her head. I love that they give these characters that, what do you call it, a bit of, safety first, just like Tony Hawk style. But yeah, like, when I originally did these parts, it was just because I think someone suggested something like this to me, which I kind of figured I wanted to do, but it's just kind of made me have more stuff to kind of get myself in the backlog, and I feel like some of the stuff I'm gonna have to cut down on, because even I kind of started regretting some of the stuff. Namely the part zeros to the events. Not to mind you, I don't mind kind of going off and kind of telling you certain facts and stuff, but I feel like some of them kind of go on too long, and even I tend to get bored and not want to actually do them. So I think the next one that pops up, which might be in the Valentine's Day, I will try to actually change it and make it somewhat different. I think I might be able to, because there is going to be something interesting that will be going on in January's update from what I hear. I won't know exactly what it is until it finally comes up. But yeah. If you're wondering when this took place, by the way, this is like a few days after Christmas, so hopefully you guys enjoyed your day, and currently right now there's still Hanukkah and Kwanzaa that's still going on, so there's that. Yeah, but it is very interesting that we get to see... Yeah, so this is going to be a long ways away for that, and that's going to be its own separate video. I believe I showed that off already for the Professor Shock line, quest line, but we'll actually get to see that place unlock during the Say Cheese and Die book, which will be in its own kind of separate category. I think for the most part I'll try to kind of do all this stuff all together, and I'm trying to debate how to tackle the collection as a whole. I believe I have mostly every character that's been officially released. The only exceptions that have been technically released that I have no collection of is the Squeezer Hatchery, the Chiller House, and then this recently new Mayfield's Bazaar place scenes. But they have not been officially released, and they might be released later on down the line. It looks like they might be starting to do something with the special books, but I'm not sure exactly what they're going to be planning on doing, or how they're going to do this moving forward, because a lot of people want to see some free stuff come into the game, and I have to agree. Don't mind... Again, I don't mind supporting the game every now and then, but it kind of is disheartening when I see people, rightfully so, complaining on how it's like, oh my god, why do I have to keep on buying this stuff? The quests or the events just suck, and it's kind of disheartening to hear, but at the same time, they have every right to say that, and I do agree with them. It's kind of... It would be weird. Like, they're slowly trying to fix the problems, so eventually, hopefully with my videos and people's complaining, that they'll actually get the game to be better.
That was a good ride, but now I'm kind of bored. I never thought I'd miss school, but seems like it's been out of session forever now. And some new people must have moved into town, because I don't recognize anyone. Weird.
Yeah, that quest starts to become more simple soon.
Hey, how come I never seen you before?
Excuse me? I think it's you who's the new one in town. As newcomers, of course you've never seen me. But we lived here for a while now. Are you sure you haven't just moved in? Nah, I've always lived here. Hey, weird. They've already left. Oh well, whatever, right?
Go to sleep, search for strange clues. I try to give that whole bored, oh man, whatever, you know, like the typical angsty teenager. But it's kind of weird because Courtney had that kind of monotone talking, and yet she's more of the angsty kind of like, you know, what, like, it's hard. Again, female voices suck for me, but the male voices, it's like, no problem, I can do that. I got the deep voice. Alright, let's read this here. It's, this is just her storyline. Basically, Sharon's been burdened with a secret, a terrible secret that will be unveiled soon. And, if you've played the game or seen the Valentine's Day update, you pretty much already know the spoilers to this. What's interesting is, after the Valentine's Day update hit, they changed the avatar to the character, which is very cool to see that they actually decide to give this character a new real look. And speaking of looks, I'll be talking about this more so when it comes to, I'm trying to think of what their name is, to the Andrew Craw character from the Headless Ghost. I'll explain more when that story comes up. But all you need to know is that I'm very disappointed to see how they made a model of this character and yet they didn't utilize this look at all. And it would have made this so simple for everybody, and yet I don't know why they didn't, or they haven't made a model of this yet, because as of right now, this is the only character looking from an bird's eye view. You can't spot easily. Unlike everyone else, you see people moving around, but because he's a ghost, he kind of hides, but apparently he does have a human form. Kinda. Again, I'll explain more when that whole thing pops up, and I'll share with you with all that, but other than that, you know, it's interesting. Alright, yay! My excitement grows. There's that signature yawn that I seem to have every so often when it comes to these. I don't know what it is, why that happens, but yeah, let's do the crash site here. What I will also say is that I believe, you know, let's take a quick look at the mummy, because I know you haven't seen that. You probably want that sweet mummy action. What is he doing? Aw, look at that. He barely did anything. The mummy is so sucky. He is probably the suckiest of characters. My plan is to probably also, during the collection video, whenever that comes out, to have all the characters kind of be updated and have them all released. It will be interesting to see how that plays out.
Hey, what could be in this letter I found by chance? It looks like a letter from a ghost. Let's see if there's anyone around here that deals with finding ghosts.
Yeah, Marty, you're not going to be fooling a lot of people, but Unfortunately, Lucy's busy for a few more minutes. No, I'm not going to waste that. I need the precious cash. During a freemium run to get all the stuff, it's kind of sucky. I will say that. It's kind of sucky to try to get everything because, oh boy, it is a challenge. It is possible, but it takes a while. So, with these limited time updates that pop up, I feel for some of the players because they won't be able to kind of, like, again, when they say this stuff, in order to get anything done, it's like a free to play, like you have to pay in order to play kind of deal. And I get it, the team has to support the development, and it's weird to kind of balance everything out. What I will say, though, is that it seems like when it comes to some of these games, there's this weird pattern that kind of goes on here. That, what do you call it? Every so often, there's like this pattern where once a game gets released, they'll support it for a year. If they make a profit within that year's time, they'll continue with supporting it. If, after the contract ends, they have still profit with it, I don't see why they wouldn't extend it. But, you know, that's just something to keep in mind. Also, I read a statistic when it comes to this game that, you know, the Addams Family, I think it took them a few weeks before they reached like 1 million downloads. This game got 1 million downloads within a week's time, so I wouldn't be so far to say Goosebumps as a property would disappear anytime soon. There's a lot of rich content to kind of go with for this game. Compared to see how they've done with Snoopy, with that lasted for almost 5 years now, and yet it's still kind of going strong. It went from being only based off of a movie to what it is now. That's just very surprising to see. But hey, it's not out of the question. But anyways, yeah, the ghostly pack here. Yeah, that's all the stuff you get there. So, I think we're just about done with the first part to Lucy's quest here. And then from there, we'll continue off of the next part in a bit. But for now, we're just going to wait for a little bit longer. And yeah, so here we go. So here's the continuation for Lucy. So let's see what she has to say.
Listen, Dustin, it seems that our bully has found something strange. Let's investigate. What a thrill! We're getting closer and closer to discovering the mystery of Andrew Craw. Wait, I don't want him to see us. We're investigating that statue as soon as he leaves.
Investigate Angel statue. Alright, for a few minutes. Yeah, you know, good on you, Lucy. You actually are smart enough to avoid the bully. Also, funny when it comes to Andrew Craw, when it comes to Marty, he's going to be the only one that gets to interact with this character, which is very bizarre because like Lucy and Dustin are trying to find him, and yet it's Marty who interferes that ends up getting in contact with him. It makes sense why when I play through that quest, but for now, all you need to know is that this will be whatever. Anyways, that'll be it for this part here. If you like what you see, then give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all that and more. Thank you for watching. I'll be seeing you next part in part 12, where we finally finish off both the Ghost Next Door as well as the Attack of the Graveyard Ghouls. Until then, I've been Grim, and I'm gonna let this thing run out until we're finally done. So until then, folks, see you next part. Bye-bye.